Hello there, welcome back to some more Disco Elysium. In the last episode, we got access to this paranormal curtain.
See a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room. A strange cage-like trinket dangles from the curtains.
Allow me to pull them open.
You see a dimly lit room full of dusty furniture and trash. A doorway stands in the back, covered in dozens of scary little Seminese wards, your shadow looming over it like an omen.
Yes. A small terrified owl escapes from Pleasance as she tries to best to look away, her round face buried in her hands. Well, we've got just the tool for the job. Da-da-da. We're going in. Ghostly silhouettes of hair dryers. A vaguely androgynous portrait of a man.
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of Seminese trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked.
Knock knock.
Only an echo. No one is there.
Oh, not the door with the key.
After exerting some force, you manage to turn the key. It's eerily silent. The door slides slightly open, letting a draft of cold air into the room.
Let's go in. I'm a police officer. I'm not scared of some fucking ghost. Okay? In real life, Joey would not go in there. I'd shitting myself. Sand is dripping from a punch bag. Hello, Kim.
What is this place?
The lieutenant stares at the dusty training equipment. I think this may be the Artemitep's boxing club for young athletes.
I think you're right, though it looks like no one's been here in ages. I doubt the electricity still works. Good thing we have a flashlight on us.
An eerie feeling rises in your chest.
What if there's a reason why no one's been here for ages?
Yes, because it's closed. No need to look for supernatural explanations where a banal one will do. Now let's move on, shall we?
I agree. I agree with the Kimster. Shot put ball. The poster says Sitius Fortis, the rest is worn off. Worn out wall bars, they look unsafe.
A barbell lies on the floor. The color has worn off its weight plates. It's 60 kilograms. Your triceps hum at the sight of these weights. Show the world what kind of beast it's dealing with. Lift them. There are no collars on the barbell. This is a safety hazard.
Look, Kim, it's a trap. There's no collars on the barbell.
You're right. The weight may fall off. Better not touch it then.
What kind of a bastard just removed the collars? It should be a felony.
It would be a violation of EPIS safety regulations if the gym was still operating. But it isn't. No one's supposed to come here anymore.
I would try and lift the barbell, but if I could lift the barbell, I'd be able to punch the big man. So that's what I'll try and do. The hallway is blocked by old window panes and debris. Looks like the remains of the 24-hour window repair shop. We're in super dark now. A large demijohn full of strange liquid. Wild animals stare at you in the dark, stuffed and mounted. Mounted is what I meant to say. Airship rotors covered in spiderwebs. They remind you of blades. A naked mannequin torso, a strange yellow colour. 3 real, thank you. I'll go up further. Let's just explore a bit first. It's an old PC case.
This appears to be some kind of machine with a cube-shaped heart and a wired framework. The keyboard has a rectangular on-off button. A piece of paper still hangs from the printer.
The radio computer. Just sitting here without anyone inside.
Do you think I should turn it on?
We have one of these down at the station, but I never really learned how to use it.
Let me try turning it on.
The machine lights up like some prehistoric animal stirring from its slumber, revealing fluorescent play and print keys on the keyboard. The hatch on the machine's central compartment is wide open.
Let's look in there.
It's empty, like a beehive without its brood. Some cables have been left dangling, disconnected.
It's not going to work.
This is where the memory should go.
Without the memory, it's not going to do anything. Blue velvet, soft to the touch and moth-bitten. Where are the clothes it used to display? Is this Emma's atelier? More money. I need 15 times more this money, then I'll be good to pay off my bill.
Your flashlight slides over an old green chalkboard covered in scribbles, sketches, and schemes, like some ancient cave mural. Some of the writing has faded with age, but you can still make out sections here and there. Photos and drawings have been pinned to the board.
Inspect the drawings.
These lithe, pointy-eared creatures appear to be different types of welkins. You make out autumnal candle welkins, casting wax-based magic. Translucent welkins, with organs shining under their skin. And even ether welkins, hailing from the vast emptiness of sidereal space. You should adopt one of those welkins as your persona. No longer a mere man, but a welkin. One of the welkins, towering among the rest, appears to be different, however.
Examine the welkin. This is important.
It's Vara Hamira, a high welkin, his face white and scarred like cracked marble. This is clearly a Welkin supremacist. The note says, all non-Welkin races will be purged. The Haldor, the Twarg, the humans, and even headless men, all of them, purged. Imagine a world filled only with Welkin, Green Welkin, Dread Welkin, and the High Welkin to rule them all.
An inordinate amount of time has gone into drawing these little Welkin creatures.
What are these creatures? Who drew them? Are they real? I have so many questions.
This looks like concept art for a project. It's not really real.
One of them is a Welkin supremacist.
Political commentary. That one has a great beard too.
The lieutenant nods to the Welkin's facial hair. Why would anyone spend so much time on this?
Some people really like building a world, I think. Even if it's just for a game.
That's been educational. Let's move on
Just
from the
look at those
Welkins.
details. So much effort.
Inspect the
The
photos.
photo collage depicts barren, icy landscapes wrapped in perpetual night. You see permafrost and glacial landforms, dead trees grown in under the snow. Entire oceans have been frozen from shore to shore. There are pictures of settlements on dried-up riverbeds, abandoned in a storm. Animal corpses in the dark, carcasses and bones. You see primitive oil rigs built into glaciers, boreal dvorg, yurts under the snow, great mammoth-like beasts of burden. Albeit dark and cold, this vision also feels cozy in its own way, like eggnog or morphine, a much-needed respite from our own world.
You see.
A pinned postcard reads, "The heat death scenario, a desperate fight for geothermal energy engulfs the world as Wirral becomes untethered from its sun, drifting through the universe."
Inspect the schedule.
This is a monthly calendar from the year 50. Cryptic words like sprint, daily minimi, and GPI span the marker-drawn grid, the grand scheme of production and money.
Right.
Minimi stands for a mini-meeting. It's part of a bigger framework for managing work called RUN. Station 41 tried to implement it a few years ago, but failed.
Keep reading. What
As
happened?
time goes on, the numbers in the boxes grow rarer and rarer. The board becomes an empty snowfield in the final days. Only failure and regret dwell in this region.
Looks like they didn't make it.
Yes.
A note in the bottom left corner of the chalkboard says, "See the prod schedule filament for details."
Inspect the notes.
The handwriting is only partly legible, but you can still make out 3 slogans: Call in, Tune Out, Wirral Untethered, and Heat Death of the Universe.
Okay. So making like a RPG world.
This old fireplace is covered in lines drawn in blue and red marker, the mesh spreading over the stone like blood vessels on alabaster skin. It looks ghostly and strangely ancient. The whole thing resembles Kadran mosaic tiles. Very pedantic.
Hold on. How do I know what Kedra mosaic tiles are supposed to look like?
History classes, students with their textbooks open, studying the roots of our civilization. Those aquarelle blue tiles looked beautiful in the sun.
What am I looking at?
Radio frequencies, it seems. UKV 123.6, UKV 123.7, UKV 123.9. Some written notes, too. Sparse and cryptic.
Radio frequencies for what?
Unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system split into veins and capillaries. Very advanced.
Of course, the anatomy of the curse.
Perhaps. The web is comprised of radio stations, all lead back to one red heart, titled the Game Master Frequency. A note says, this one can listen in on any station it wants.
If it's a game, then who's playing?
Whoever decides to call in to a call-in station, it looks like. There's no way a little basement studio working here could pull anything like this off.
My God. It's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project became.
Why would you say that?
The schedule. I know doom when I see it. The company was running out of funding.
What else? Squint at the light.
Nothing. It's just lines on marble. An echo from times long gone. No one has used the fireplace in ages.
I know that's a thing that happens in game development quite a lot. Scribbled across the notebook. Developers for the most advanced RPG in the universe. It happens a lot in game development that people...
Okay. What do you think is going on with that computer, chalkboard, and fireplace?
It's just a failed business. The only question is, what the hell were they making?
Yes, that is the question.
The lieutenant takes a step back, steepling his
It
hands.
looks like one of those popular pen and paper role-playing games. Only these people were trying to automate it, make it work on radio computers.
Has anyone ever done this before?
Not to my knowledge. They make automated games in Graz, Messina, Königstein. You know, places with industry.
Not in Revachol West, among the ruins.
But I don't think anyone has attempted to create an inter-isolary game before. We just don't have the technology.
And this was a role-playing game.
Indeed, those Welkins are a dead giveaway. Role-playing people love that stuff. The world looks like a modified version of the WeWorld board game, with hit death thrown in.
Super cool. Someone should give them millions of real immediately. This game is too good to be left unfinished.
What do you think happened to the company?
No idea. They stopped filling out the schedule on the chalkboard.
How are they planning to do
Through
that?
call-in stations. None of the players have to be physically present. Anyone in the world can participate in the game, as long as they have a two-way radio. Then there's the Game Master Frequency that listens in on the smaller call-in stations. I think that was supposed to coordinate the stories, functioning as a master of ceremonies of sorts.
Right.
His fascination has swept aside other concerns for the moment. He's a little hooked.
Wow.
Indeed, it's ambitious and untethered from reality, but...
The world is cold and lonely. This would keep it company. Let's finish it.
It's too late for that, I'm afraid.
He says, looking around the direct room. The pipes howl and a vat crosses the
Okay,
floor.
let's keep moving.
Okay, so there's this. There's also the other stairs, but... An ice cream maker, defrosted and unplugged. What the fuck is in this?
You see a terrifying ice bear with a strange compartment in its belly. The door is covered in frost, and the bear's eyes are glowing red.
Yes.
The bear looks oddly realistic. Is it taxidermy?
What is this thing? Looks like a giant ice
The
bear.
lieutenant doesn't answer. His eyes are glued to the animal. A sharp slice of light shines out from its mysterious belly door.
Let's try cracking open the
A
door.
gust of freezing cold air rushes to greet you. You hear a low grumble as the bear regulates itself. This is the inside of a refrigerator. The lieutenant takes a peek inside. His hand has found the holster of his gun.
Let's look inside the refrigerator.
The shelves are empty. All you see are crumpled ice cream wrappers with the brand name, Revachol Ice City. A handwritten note has been attached to the door. The fridge is huge.
Take the note from the
You
door.
pocket the note and the little fridge magnets keeping it on the door.
Examine one of the ice cream wrappers in there.
A friendly cartoon bear smiles back at you from a glossy cellophane wrapper. It looks nothing like the fridge.
What is a giant bear-shaped fridge doing in an abandoned cellar in the first place?
Good question. It looks like an ice cream fridge.
He studies it in the light. So they try to sell ice cream from this hyper carnivore?
I know. What an unfortunate marketing choice. What is even worse, the bear is still costing them money to this day.
The lieutenant points to the red snaky cable coming from the fridge.
The fridge buzzes with energy. The electricity bill on this thing must be catastrophic.
Must be. Well, let's read this note.
The note is written with a blue pencil on a piece of lined office paper. The kitchen magnets have left spots on its surface.
Does it say anything interesting?
The lieutenant leans closer to read the crumpled note over your shoulder.
This is tangential at best, but the lieutenant's detective instinct is still active.
Let's read it.
Someone has scribbled, S. I can't believe the off-site copy is still here. The illiterate ginger kid keeps stealing stuff from the studio, so I had to hide it somewhere safe. You'll find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice cream maker. Please take it home, ASAP. It's important. I'd do it myself if I lived in a civilized place with a freezer. Take care, Sully Swaff.
Do you have any idea what the frozen ice cream maker could be?
I don't know. I assume it's somewhere close to the iceberg fridge.
Who's the illiterate ginger kid?
Really? You don't have a single guess?
You mean Kuno?
Oh, I'm sure that child would love to get his hands on the filament memory. Even if he doesn't know what to do with it, he'd probably try to pawn it for speed, based on our encounter.
Remind me again, what's a filament memory?
It belongs inside a radio computer.
Yes.
Storing its memory. It's like a tape.
I need that.
You listen to disco tapes, right? It's like one of your disco tapes, only for a computer.
I wonder who wrote that note.
Looks like someone from that radio game company upstairs. I'm a little surprised they just left their property lying here.
Maybe they had to leave in a hurry.
That's a plausible hypothesis.
Okay. Well, I leveled up. So... to inspect the body... I need volumetric shit. So I need the... endurance. Endurance. Let's make our endurance a bit better. Because I need to be able to do that. Like, getting past the man, I can... if I have to, I will lie about being a supremacist. But I have to be able to inspect the body. It's my job. The wall collapse is inaccessible now.
A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black.
What is this thing? It's a furnace?
Looks like it. Looks like an old central furnace used to heat the building. It's connected to the chimney.
He opens the door and gingerly peeks inside.
No one has used it in ages. No signs of any recent fire. Only dead rats.
Let's look inside.
It's dark and grimy here. In the darkness you can hear chatter. It's coming from above. A voice or several voices talking to each other. Near the smoke chamber, upstairs.
I see.
What are you doing?
Not sure, Kim, but I think you can hear someone talking upstairs.
Wait, really? You should investigate. See if someone's upstairs.
Okay. The voice I heard, maybe it's the malignant entity. Pleasant says it lives in a chimney.
The rooms do look like they're connected. But malignant entities don't exist. At least not the supernatural kind.
Always has to be the skeptic, this man.
Smear my hands with coal.
A lush layer of coal now covers your skin, sinking into the wrinkles. Your hands look ancient. Maybe you could paint something with this coal. Leave a cave painting for future archaeologists. No, that would be stupid.
I'll come back to that. Gotta find the frozen ice cream maker. I might be able to actually solve a case. I might be able to do something useful. The flashlight casts a strange shadow. There's a hidden doorway there. That's because of my knowledge. I could see that. My knowledge of yellow. Something above the piping. They look inoperable. I can't read that. Someone has stuck some busted guns beneath the ceiling.
A few bricks have fallen off, revealing a compartment behind the wall. It's too dark to see in.
Look, there's a hole in the wall.
There is, yes. And there also appears to be something inside the hole. Interesting. Do you want to take a look?
Okay, I do.
Your hand reaches deep into darkness and spiderwebs, Rummaging around, you find rusty rifles hidden away.
Rifles, Kim.
Are these any good?
Inspect the
Most
rifles.
of them are rusty and inoperable, like the rest. But one catches your eye. A bolt-action
Got
model
myself a
with
gun,
fine wood stock
doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-doo.
in better cosmetic order than the others.
This one looks nice.
That's a rare sight. Seems to no longer be functional, but still a beautiful thing in its own way.
Where are we?
Seems like an old bunker from the revolutionary period. Look at all those rifles. Must be an old weapons cache.
I see. What does this mean, a rifle
It
here?
means there are firearms, albeit inoperable, still lying around in Martinez. It's an interesting coincidence, I would say. Might come in useful in the future.
He likes this find.
Cool. So I've got a rifle I can't use, but it's worth 390. So 4 real must be quite a lot. So if I've made 180 real of damage, I completely fucked the room entirely. Frozen ice cream maker that's still running.
This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner on top and an electric freezer that appears to be frozen shut.
Try to crack open the lid.
You slip your fingers under the frozen lid, but the ice is too cold for you to get a good grip. A pry bar would come in handy here. If you want to try again, then you need to have the pry bar in your hand, detective.
Right.
This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner on top and an electric freezer that appears to be frozen shut.
My pry bar is not strong enough to actually open it. Okay.
Two cables are plugged into the breaker box. The red one leads to the ice bear fridge and the black one to the ice cream maker nearby.
Let's unplug the cable for
An
the bear.
electric sizzle. The room is slightly quieter now.
Save them some Aleki. Intercom wires running into the breaker box. Take that. It's an insane mesh tank top. +1 drama. I've got a knack for the dramatic. Okay. Some coins. Cellar window. People's feet shuffling by on the street. Okay. So yeah, I need a stronger pry bar. The pry bar is probably going to break if I try and use it on that. Also, maybe that bin was opened with the bolt cutters, and now the other ones will become blue because I've got the pry bar in my hands. I mean, yeah, like maybe the pry bar is what I needed to actually do the things. Also, it's getting dark. They said by 2 AM everyone's asleep. There are less people about at night, but by the night time, everyone is very asleep. Yes, I still can't open that. Alright, so I've got a few things I can still try. I've got the ability to get into the... Well, I might be able to use the pry bar on the door in the inn, but more importantly, I can get upstairs further by going into the... I can try and climb the chimney, which is not necessarily going to work, or I can go up the stairs from the other room, which might work a bit better. So I need something stronger than a pry bar, or I need a stronger pry bar. Yeah, there's some people in here that wouldn't otherwise be in here. But what's also this? Take your money, thank you.
You see a heavy steel, the cobalt blue.
Let me touch the door.
It leads to a side building. The door does not budge. The door does not.
I was wondering if I kept trying to push it, it might say, oh, do you want to try and break it open? And I say, yes, I do. You still asleep? I think you might be comatose. He's been asleep for a long ass time. Just me wandering around with my pry bar, don't mind me. So, if I was playing on my own, I would keep reloading the save until my skill check worked. But I don't think that's how the game wants you to play it, so that's not how I'm going to play it. It's off now.
The beer's eyes are dead and empty. Ice inside the fridge slowly melting. The power has been cut off.
Yes. That is good. That's what I wanted to happen. Right, so let's go back through here, then go through the other door and go up the other stairs and see what's up there. Right, this is where I put the memory once I've got it. It's going to be hard to do. The pry bar's no good.
An iron safety curtain curves before
this is
your
what
eyes,
they were saying about.
folded like a bellows. It covers half the room, blocking the way into a colossal industrial chimney. This must be where the entity lives. This is directly above the central furnace in the cellar. The voices probably came from here.
Okay, but we think there's someone in there. Shoes in the puddle of melting snow. And postcard La Delta 51. Okay, let me try crawling up there. The sunlight has made this postcard almost completely sepia-toned. Midtown traffic passes overhead, the ghosts of skyscrapers disappear into a beige midday mist, vaporizing from the delta on which the district was built. This postcard is prepaid. Alright. We've got a 50% shot of getting into this furnace. Any skill check I fail, I can retry by putting a point into the relevant stat.
A thick layer of coal dust
Let's have a go.
covers the furnace.
Hello?
Coloring, you muster
Damn
all
it.
your strength and yell. Your dehydrated, hungover throat can produce little more than a dry croak. A lifetime of smoking and drinking will do that to you. The chatter from the chimney continues on as
Shit.
before. You seem to have made no impression on whatever's up there. Then again, maybe it's worth actually trying something up there.
Maybe you should let your voice rest, officer. Try again later.
Kick
A
it.
hollow ring echoes through the furnace.
Ow.
Your toe hurts.
You're right.
There always has to be the skeptic, this man.
Okay. I'm going to yell hello because I kicked the furnace. Hello?
Another pathetic
Oh,
yell
for fuck's
sounds off
sake.
into the vast darkness of the chimney. You're a little embarrassed you produced it. A hollow
again.
ring echoes through the furnace. Your toe hurts.
I can't do it again. We're fine. I kicked it and I still couldn't yell into it. I'm surprised kicking it helped me. I tried kicking it again to see if kicking it again would reset the check. It didn't. So I kicked it again for no reason.
As before, an iron safety curtain
Yes.
curves. This is directly above the central
Hello?
furnace in the
I
cellar.
yelled, but it didn't work.
Again, your voice becomes a raspy croak mid-sentence.
I
It's
just
silent
can't
in the
talk,
abandoned
apparently.
office building. No one answers you. Sire, may we suggest something? Think of the yelling into the furnace as a grand performance. Use your chest voice, not your head voice. Sing from the diaphragm. Perhaps it's not such a bad idea. Try it again, son.
Okay. I'm going to try again. The game wants me to succeed. It's like, please just yell into the fucking furnace and do it right, Joey. I tried.
A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black.
Me. Yell hello into the furnace.
Something breaks loose in you. A mighty bellow echoes throughout the chimney's depths. The chatter of tiny voices above suddenly cease. Then,
Hello?
Hello, are you there? Speak to me.
Hello? Did you say can't hear you. Please come upstairs. There's a safety curtain on the second floor. I'll open it.
You hear a low rumble upstairs.
Yes.
The sound of a curtain being pulled aside.
After you, officer.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't need to tell them I'm police yet. I'll tell them I'm police when I'm up there, once I've gained lawful entry into the property. Right. It's just 8 o'clock on a Tuesday. It's fine. This is relatively okay working hours. I'm in. This tray is full of dice. Colourful polyhedral dice. Hundreds of them. The candy dispenser has been repurposed to contain thousands of dice.
Hello, I'm Nia.
A bird-like woman sits on a throne of tools with emerald light shining through her hair.
Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Milius.
She taps on her headphones.
So what kind of die are you looking for?
She's got a direct view to the backyard. You should interrogate her about the lynching.
Hold on, what do you mean by Milius?
Yes, a Milius is like a call-in station. You need a two-way radio to access one. That's why I have these.
She pats the headphones on the table.
Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking.
You must have me confused with someone else. I haven't been knocking on your window.
Then how did you get inside? By the south entrance? You know what? It doesn't even matter. What matters is that you're finally here. Let's talk dice. Did you have something specific in mind?
Why are you asking me about dice?
I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need. That's why you're here, yes?
Role-playing games? You know the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count?
Sure, I like role-playing games. I need some dice.
Very good. My rate is 10 real per set. Unless you want something really unusual. Take a look around and see if there's any particular stone you want to use.
The walls around her are covered with rows of precious stones and minerals.
It almost looks as if the stones and dice are a natural part of the room, growing out of the shells like stalagmites.
I'm hoping the dice are worth more than 10.
No falsehoods are present. She's a novelty dice maker and doesn't have anything to hide. Ask what you need.
Okay, I'd like to order a die from you.
Of course. Tell me what you have in mind.
Do you have any cursed dice?
What do you mean by cursed?
As cursed as this commercial area?
Alright, how about I surprise you? Come back in 8 hours with 7 real, and I'll give you your cursed die.
It's a deal.
Great, see you in 8 hours then. Was there anything else?
She takes a small notebook from her table and writes something down. Well, was there anything else? 8 hours is 6 a.m. No, 4 a.m. I'm sure I can come back after 8 hours has passed. What do you know about the man who was lynched behind the whirling in rags?
Nothing really. I didn't know him.
The lieutenant looks at his notebook. Then the woman under the large window.
Your window looks directly onto the courtyard. You're saying you didn't see or hear anything unusual last Sunday evening?
I'm sorry, detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my window.
Do you often work Sunday nights?
It's an odd profession, making dice for people. But I like it, and I prefer doing this to sitting at home.
You never took your eyes off the work to look out the window?
I might have, but in this case, all I would have seen is my own reflection staring back from the darkness.
It's light here, but dark in the yard at night.
It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's dark outside. Besides, I rarely get up to look out the window when I'm in the zone.
What do you mean by the daily ruckus?
Well, there's always something going on in the Whirling's backyard.
She tries to stop. Well, she stops to try and come up with an example.
During daytime, there are usually those kids. And lately, I've been seeing a lot of drunk workers hanging about. Must be because of the strike.
She's heard of the murder, but did not see it, sire.
Right.
But I never saw anyone during that fateful Sunday night, I'm afraid.
I see. Thank you for your answers.
She nods.
Anything else, officer?
How did you become a dice maker?
How did I become one? It was a business decision. I was a regular jeweler at first, but that's an unfocused field with too much competition. Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedral dice out of cobalt. That was my first order. I grew it from there.
Do you like role-playing games yourself?
Not especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay. And role players as customers? They're nice people.
Some of those nice people have big bucks to spend on novelty items.
Hey, where are we anyway? What is this place?
We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know.
She looks up at the ruddy bricks that make up the walls. Even though they've been repainted, there are still signs of coal-black soot here and
But
there.
when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides, I don't really have to pay any rent here, so that's a plus.
Creative.
The lieutenant looks around the spacious room, its ceiling fading into shadows above. Do you know what happened to the other tenants? Everyone else is gone.
More or less. Are you interested in anyone specific?
Oh, quite a lot of them spring to mind.
Yes. There used to be a hair salon here, right?
Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't a big hit around here. Turns out that working class men don't like genderless haircuts. They're scared of that word.
A bit of experimenting every now and then isn't bad. It's not about the haircut. It's about the confidence.
What's wrong with a bit of experimenting? The customers should have been more open-minded.
I guess it just wasn't the time yet.
What happened to the gym?
It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemiteps Boxing Club, a community project created to steer at-risk youth away from drugs and crime.
Judging from the kids I've met so far, it didn't really work, did it?
It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation in Martinez even worse. At some point, someone started a rumor that the punching bag downstairs was full of amphetamines.
You should have known it. It's not really full of that. No one would store their drugs like that.
Eventually, the coalition took away the funding and the club went bankrupt. This was a few years ago. It's gotten much more peaceful around the plaza ever since.
What's up with the broken windows?
Oh, this one's a mess. There used to be a company that promised to repair windows 24 hours a day. What could go wrong with this one, right? Turns out, the business was actually set up as a front for an illicit group that was producing snuff milieu. Who would have guessed?
What's the snuff milieu?
And they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway and I have no idea how to get rid of it on my own.
Cool, very cool about the debris, but what's a snuff milieu?
It's a sub-Rosa radio station that broadcasts real murders with real victims. Some people pay good money to get off on it.
Nothing changes in her tone as she says that. As if it's just another piece of information to lay out for the world. What does she mean to get off on it?
Don't worry, the ICP has a separate division that deals exclusively with unlicensed sub-roses. This isn't our problem.
Okay.
Good luck with that. It's not easy catching those perpetrators.
Did someone here make stuffed animals? I see mounts lying around.
You mean Mr. Fabron, the taxidermist? No, he mostly just did drugs.
But what drugs exactly?
I need to know what drugs he was doing for my police report.
He got high on some weird taxidermy chemicals. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Eventually, they caused him to lose control of his bladder. The smell was awful.
Even you can probably do better than that.
I found creepy mannequins.
There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple of years, until the insect rights activists came.
I didn't know insects had any rights or activists.
Yeah, the atelier didn't know it either. They produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. Apparently chitin is made in the Occident, where it's extracted from beetle wings. And you know how all kinds of political movements are big in the Occident. The activists shut down the biggest chitin supplier, which of course caused the price to skyrocket.
Just to remove the chitin from the product.
And, naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in chitin from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection.
I'm glad that someone took care of that, guys. I like insects.
Really? Anyway.
Right. Well, I mean, Some of them are fine. I mean, they have a purpose, as with everything does. I found a strange machine.
Fortress Accident, the radio game studio.
She closed her eyes as some remnant of a memory lights up her face.
They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing systems every now and then. Once, I even saw two of them get into fisticuffs over Wiro.
That's understandable. Fantasies are serious things. The mind is the drawing board of history.
They certainly took their work very seriously, even if they seemed to be chronically liberal with their schedules.
What do you mean liberal? What happened?
The usual. They ran out of money and couldn't get the project done on time.
What went wrong?
Well, I did hear them talking at times.
She looks at the hallway as if she can still hear them chit-chat behind her curtains on a cigarette break.
They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some grand quest.
She sounds almost mocking when she says that.
Really? They must have been on a gigantic ego trip.
That's what I thought. Because when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. You know, how the markets are rigged to keep up new businesses and so on. In the end, they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly historic. And to show up to work on time.
Showing up to work on time is hard. No, scratch that. Showing up to work at all is difficult. Especially if you've been drinking.
They should have just tried harder. They had everything needed to succeed.
Still, not everyone is going to make it. That's the nature of the game.
This is true.
The result is 1 on a 20-sided die.
That's not good.
Anything else?
That's a critical fail. There was a terrifying taxidermied bear in the cellar.
Oh boy, the fabled Revachol ICT. You're in for a treat here.
She smiles and leans closer, hands on her knees, like a stand-up comedian ready to tell a story.
The place was owned by two guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing. The bear was one of them. Now ask me about their other ideas.
Indeed. What were the other ideas?
Alright, what about the other ideas?
There was really just one. And it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them 20 cents per hour to man the booth. And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine browsing.
She leans back, disapproving.
Fritta does the same thing.
I know a girl just like that. She works in Frit as a cashier and she's not particularly friendly.
Employing silky teenage girls is a widespread practice, yes. Unfortunately, they always come in packs. I'm talking about acne-ridden girlfriends and gorilla-like boyfriends loitering near the shop. At least that's what happened with Revachol ICT.
I see.
And they already had the bear.
What about the bear?
The bear.
She repeats, pressing thumbs into her temples like trying to suppress a headache. It didn't work out.
Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator. To make matters worse, the fridge didn't work too well either, and half the ice cream came out malformed and partially melted. Eventually, Revachol ICT lost the price war to its rival, Glacé 5000. Glacé 5000 sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents a piece, out of regular fridges.
I killed the bear.
You did what?
I unplugged the fridge to help Revachol ICT cut their losses.
Of course they left it plugged in. Even in death, the bear is costing them money. The taxidermist who made it said it was his vision beast. He said he met his vision beast while high on desiccants. He called it Megatherion.
Oh,
Sounds cool.
Megatherion?
Megatherion. A mega wild beast.
What's a mega wild beast?
It's an imaginary beast that guides you through life by telling you to do more drugs, mostly.
A wise and noble beast, guiding you toward the land where the streets are paved with drugs.
I don't do drugs.
Very good. You shouldn't do them. You're a police officer after all. Anyway, now you know the story of the fallen ice cream empire.
She seems almost sad finishing the story. I've got...
Anything else? Another failed business, perhaps? I've been here for a long time.
I've got, XP for days from this. I found the building's intercom, but it's not working.
Oh, right. I hope you didn't try to ring me. I think none of those doorbells work, including mine. I'm still in the middle of connecting the wires. Sorry about the
I see.
confusion.
The doorbell with the empty name card must belong to her then.
You telling me the doorbell with the empty name card was yours?
That's right. I haven't even written my name there. As I said, it's quite useless right now. It doesn't work yet.
Strange thing happened when I tried calling a company named Slipstream SCA. Someone answered.
It can't be true. They don't work here anymore. They've been gone for years.
She looks like she doesn't really believe you.
Are you sure it was Slipstream SCA? Was it a woman? Maybe it was Plaisance from the bookstore.
She said she was from Tricentennial Electrics.
Tricentennial Electrics?
There's a moment before she recognises the name.
It used to be a major electric company 100 years ago.
Oh.
Are you sure it wasn't just some kids playing a prank on you?
It was too real to be just a prank. Either we're dealing with a professional actress,
Or...
whatever happened, keep your cool. It's probably better to admit that it was a harmless prank.
You're right, I probably just got made fun of.
Oh, the kids these days. We were just one of them, and now they're terrorizing us. No solidarity.
I was wondering about the Whirling in Rags. Is it part of the same building complex?
You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the East Delta Commerce Center project. That explains why you can call the whirling from the intercom, albeit I doubt that anyone responds.
If the whirling is part of the same building, then it's part of the doomed commercial area. The darkness of this place is there, too.
I saw a name East Delta Pinball on the doorbell.
Right, it used to be a gaming arcade. This is an ancient failure, before my time. I'm not surprised, however. My advice, don't base your business on a fad. Hypnotism, floriography, trick-track, especially pinball.
Agreed. Pinball is the worst.
Rude. I have a few more questions about the building.
Sure, I'm listening.
I like pinball. I added the questions.
I hope it clarified things a bit. What else?
I've heard this place is cursed. Do you know people call it the doomed commercial area?
I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true.
Plaisance is the one who sent me. She's convinced the place is swarming with malicious energies.
Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energies spared her somehow?
Actually, the bookstore isn't doing that well. There are hardly any customers. She has to exploit her own daughter to keep the company going.
Oh, right. But it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the whirling in rags? Some people say it's part of the building complex.
Nah, the whirling isn't doing well either. Its waitress just took off and customers have trouble paying bills.
And then there is me.
She sighs, looking at her messy work table. All kinds of tools lie there scattered, from knives to carving out files to wire cutters.
I've been here for 14 years, selling novelty dice to role-playing enthusiasts. Not exactly a million-real business idea, yet somehow I've survived despite the talk of malicious energies. Strange, isn't it?
Maybe it's just because she's so talented that she's been able to woo the curse.
Because you're competent and dedicated to your craft, the curse doesn't affect people like you.
What, so the curse only affects people with poor work ethics? What you're describing isn't a curse, it's capitalism.
So I'd say there is no curse, only business decisions and natural market fluctuations.
Exactly. Truth is always so disappointingly mundane and boring. But I'm glad we got this sorted out. Anything else I can help you with today?
That's all she has to say on the subject. She's been thorough and truthful, as far as we can see.
I have more questions about the building.
I'm listening.
Okay, no,
Good.
nothing.
I hope it clarified things a bit. What
I
else?
could try this, it's not going to work.
Jamais vu. Derealization. Jamais vu. The opposite of déjà vu. Not already seen, but never seen. Everything that should be familiar appears strange and new, like some half-forgotten day in your childhood. Only now. That's the feeling you've been having. And for who knows how long. You should go and ask Joyce Messier about this. What world are we in? This is a fundamental question.
Jamais. So I can unlock it for a skill point. Yeah, not already seen, but never seen. I get one skill point for every orb I click. Unfortunately, it's not retroactive, so I lost a lot of XP already. But how was I to know? Right, so... report back to Plaisance about your findings. I've got to pick up some cursed dice. Which I like the sound of a lot. I enjoy that. Skis with slipstream printed on the laminated top layer. Does this count as... click on an orb? Yes, it does. Okay. Steel rotor blades bearing a slipstream logo. Take the projection schedule, filament memory. I can put the memory in this. And then power it on.
Tiles on the cube are still smoked.
Let's
Like
insert
a
it.
smooth draw, the filament slides into place. On the keyboard, the play key starts blinking.
Let's press play.
A bar of fabric right above the keyboard starts producing a soft hum. The sound of static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. The static gets louder, slowly filling up the abandoned hall, until a voice speaks out, crackling and old, cutting into the air.
Good evening, Fortress Accident en rue de Saint-Ghislaine. This is East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule?
What's the production schedule?
The filament you have inserted into the reader.
Right, thanks for the
That was
explanation.
a question. Have you inserted it into the core?
Yes.
Good. Please repeat the password.
Password. Of course it would have a password. That's why there's a human administrator involved.
A password? I'm really bad at passwords. Can you give me a hint?
No.
A hint system is not part of the protocol for repeater stations.
Is it my birthday?
Still no.
This is the police. Please open this thing.
I am contractually obliged to protect the privacy of the filament holder Fortress Accident. Without filing a warrant with Lintel, I cannot give you access to this filament.
I'm afraid we are not doing that, unless we want to wait for a month.
Now, can you please repeat the password?
The voice in the machine asks again. She sounds cold under the damp hair. I don't know the password.
Received. I will register this login attempt.
Don't worry. Passwords have a way of turning up sooner or later.
Fortress Accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today?
Why did you call me Fortress Accident?
Fortress Accident is the company on whose name the terminal you are currently using has been registered to.
Do you have any information about this company?
One moment.
You hear her flip through a catalogue before she reads out with studious care.
Fortress Accident SCA produces revolutionary interactive call-in radio games.
That's what the catalogue
That's
says.
what the catalog says.
That's not bad.
Wow, so conceptual. And what's that, this interactive call-in radio game?
Any other questions?
Oh, okay, so you didn't want to answer that. What are you, a machine?
Yes, I am alive. I am 74 years old and my name is Yvonne.
She repeats passwords. Programming people are all paranoid.
Okay, but where are you? How did you know where I am?
I work as a repeater at the East Insulindian repeater station. It's my job to know where you are, Fortress Accident. As for me, well, I am
static,
sitting
then.
in my cubicle, surrounded by a wall of radios. Now, please tell me if there's anything else I can do, Fortress Accident.
That's all for now.
Thank you, and goodbye.
The old lady's voice disappears along with the
Tiles
static.
on the cube are still smouldering, casting the framework in a soft glow.
Yes.
Fluorescent play and print keys shine on the keyboard.
Let me print.
Nothing happens.
Shit. See, I wondered if maybe they had like the password on a post-it note or something, like you're not supposed to do, but people do anyway. Because they never learn. Right, it's a bit past the point in the video where I should stop, but I want to see if there's anything else I can do now. Vevacho. Avanye. Klasje. Looks like Guillaume de Le Millon, the hair poster. Hello, friend.
You're alive and well. Don't keep me waiting now. What's in there? In that dark sarcophagus?
The dark sarcophagus.
Yes, yes. How was it?
Tell her how ghastly it was. You know it's what she wants to hear.
It was a charnel house of failed business enterprises leeching life energy from this bookstore.
I knew it. Oh, such horrors that have been thrust upon us.
She shakes her head.
But what else did you find? Did anything survive? No, of course not. Have you located the entity?
I spoke to the entity you told me about. Her name is Neha, and she's a novelty dice maker.
A novelty dice maker? Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep.
She's not a sorceress or some malicious entity. She's a businesswoman like you.
I don't understand. If it's not her, then where is the source of the doom? How did she explain the curse?
She looks perplexed.
The narrative she's built herself, it does need tearing down. She's squeezing on the pendant too tight. A drop of blood in her palm. To hell with it. Perchance you ought to just lie, sire.
I don't have an answer yet. There still needs to be followed that strange radio computer thing.
You're telling me that you went in there and didn't find out anything about the curse?
Well, I found out. She looks
Of
disappointed.
course. I should have known better than to put my hopes
Ah,
on a man
shit.
like you. You're no Simonese ghost whisperer. You're an alcoholic. The investigation's over. I don't want you going in there anymore. You're only angering the psychic weather in here. Now, if you're not going to buy anything...
She turns to face the door, waiting for potential customers.
Total psychic collapse between you two right now. There was never any other way this could have gone. She's just too far gone into her own mind.
I am sorry we had to disappoint you, ma'am. Can we go now?
Works for me. Right, so in terms of things that I can still check. Physical instrument is a lot of things. Okay. Endurance as well, but physical instrument does a lot of things. I could try this again. Okay. Right. So we learnt that. I don't think I solved this the way that she wanted me to sell it. I could have lied to her and told her there is a curse. But I'll see you guys next time when we move onwards and try and get some more progress. I've got to find the secret door somewhere. See you then. Goodbye.